Now, my next guest is Amal Raisi, and I would like her to come up. Amal, I've seen your store and your work and your studios in Muscat. How easy has it been over this last decade to take the brand from traditional to bridal to ready-to-wear? Please come up with Dina so that we can talk and she can also take a view of how your clothes fit into the work of this region. Oh, you're there. So, Dina, are we now going to decide who asks Amal Raisi the first question? I just want to say that you all have an opportunity to go and see her very beautiful store in Muscat, and a store which is, I would say, partly couture, like haute couture, partly ready to wear. And I've actually been upstairs to the workshops and seen the hands of men making these pieces. And I think it's a very good example of somebody who over 9 years, is that right? Yeah. Over 9 years, you've really created a brand. And I'd love you to tell us how to do it. But Dina, do you have something you would like to ask first?
As you'd like. I would like to ask you this question. You celebrate your 10th year in business in 2017. Mabruk. Mabruk, congratulations. Where do you see your brand in the next 10 years? What are your plans?
Well, I think 10 years is a very long time. And I'll tell you why, because 2 years back, I was only selling in my flagship store in Muscat. And I had a dream to take this brand across the Omani borders. And that's when I rebranded and I introduced my ready-to-wear line. And now I'm in 12 different retailers across the MENA region. And sitting here with you, this is an honor. And seeing my name in Vogue Arabia, that's something very big for me. So all of this happening in 2 years, I think I can't imagine what's going to happen in the next 10 years.
I have a little question there. So when you say you wanted to grow, is it just regionally or do you want to go global?
No, I do want to grow global. Taking it step by step, moving from Muscat to the region, and hopefully I have a 3-year plan to be in one of the biggest department stores internationally, and I'm working hard towards that.
I was very intrigued when one of the themes of your shows that I saw was navigating the new silk routes, or a similar thing about silk routes. And because I was working on the conference, although you didn't know it at that stage, I was very intrigued by it. Do you mean, explain to us what it means or what it meant at the time you were designing it? Were you taking things from countries outside your immediate area, or was it about something else?
Well, I'm very proud to be Omani, and Oman has always been my source of inspiration. And I always directly or indirectly put something, a story from Oman, in every collection. We have a rich heritage, and I want the world to see that. And talking about Silk Route has changed so many nations. And Oman had a major role in that route, trading frankincense, which is a luxury item. And that was traded through sea. So this came naturally to me to have this as an inspiration, because that was a very strong point in history for Oman. So that's when I thought this would be my next inspiration. And I collaborated for the first time with an international print designer to create 2 different prints. And I have incorporated elements from Oman, like the mountains, the frankincense, the sea, because the luxury item, frankincense, was traded through sea. And that's how the inspiration comes.
Dina, I think you've got a question.
I think this question is actually going to be a continuation. How would you distinguish your work from that of other regional designer? What makes your clothes Omani?
As I said.
What you just said.
I have my ready-to-wear collection that I have recently introduced. And that's always followed by a capsule collection, which is more modest. And with that, I offer my Omani clients something extra, because this, like in my capsule collections, I have abayas, and my ready-to-wear line is more exposed. So an Omani woman would like to throw a abaya on top of her.
Something to fit the lifestyle.
Exactly, to fit the culture and to suit the culture we're from.
Well, it's interesting to me, completely from the outside, because I feel that the abaya is obviously symbolic to this region and to much of your collections. But you've turned the abaya really into quite a luxury item, not an everyday one. Can you tell us about this?
Yes, I think abaya is a wardrobe essential for every Arab woman. It's something like the little black dress. And Arab women doesn't like their bodies to be exposed. So abaya is the perfect thing for them. And knowing that we come from a very warm region, we always like to wear something that's flowy and comfortable. And also the abaya comes in diverse, it's as diverse as any other piece. So abayas come in different shapes, different colors. Designers have put a lot of efforts to decorate the abayas.
Makes sense.
Well, one thing that surprised me...
And one more thing I want to say is that we wear the abaya with pride, and me as a designer, I design it with pride.
Well, that's a very beautiful thought. I was interested when I was in your store to see that you seem to be very generous in spirit, because you actually make over a part of your store to other designers, which, if I understood it correctly, is actually to help them because they don't have stores of their own. And so you're helping them by letting them sell in your area. This is quite unusual, isn't it?
No, I think, for me, I believe that together we stand stronger. And maybe I had opportunities that others didn't have. So by offering them to be in my store, that's, well, I also believe that what's meant to be for me will never pass by me. So helping others would also help me, because then I would give also my clients a variety of choices.
So it's a win-win.
Exactly, it's a win-win. And knowing that when I started designing under the name Dar El Asil, and introducing my ready-to-wear line, my designs are under the name of Amal Raisi, which is my name, but my boutique remained Dar El Asil because now I wanted to be a multi-brand boutique where I introduce other designers as well.
How closely do you work with your clients? Is there a lot of what we would call couture or semi-couture in what you do when you're really working with the clients and also doing clothes that fit onto their particular bodies?
Yes, I work very close to my clients. I have two different types of clients. I have my wholesale clients, the buyers, and I listen to their feedback to improve my designs. And I have my direct clients who come to my boutique, and I also try my best to cater their needs, knowing that Arab women always like to be different, you know? They always want to have something special.
I have to say that's an Arab trait. Arab women love being unique.
Yes, they like to be special, they like to be different in any way, and knowing that I have my workshop in the same place, and I'm always there listening to their feedback. I always try to go that extra mile and give them something that would always make them feel special and different.
You're talking about having a special relationship with your clients here, but you must have quite a special relationship with your hand workers because they fill 2 rooms upstairs, is that right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, this is quite a commitment on your part, isn't it, to have these people who are doing things by hand. Was that decision made from the beginning, or is it something you've gradually extended?
No, I initially started with hand embroidery, hand beading, because as an Arab woman, this is something very important, and we like details, and we love to have beading in our clothes.
Agreed.
I want you to ask a question, Dina, that do not have the insight of your background to understand.
Okay, well, let me find it. I think it's the abaya question, although you have asked something similar to it, but I could be wrong.
Just whatever you want.
Well, we talked about the abaya, and I wanted to kind of shed a little bit of light on it. The abaya is a symbolic of this region and much of your collection. You have turned the abaya into a luxury item. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, as I told you, with every ready-to-wear collection, I have a capsule following that collection, because when I decided that I'm crossing the borders, then I'm making designs that would suit any woman in any part of the world. So introducing the capsule after the ready-to-wear, this gives something extra to the Arab women, and normally my capsule collections have more than one abaya design, and they fit in the ready-to-wear collection, so they come with same inspiration, same beadwork. So
exactly, I think that's what we're trying to shed light on. The idea that the abayas we're mentioning here are not as I just want to clarify something, if you'll allow me. Abayas are like, I don't know, trousers for Western women. You have formal ones, you have casual ones, you have different fabrics, you have different colors, depending on the occasion you're going to go for.
Of course.
So,
yes.
Because I'm not sure that Westerners understand that concept. You know,
Yes.
you'll choose an abaya to go to a wedding that's very different than abaya to take your kids to school.
Exactly.
So I think in your case, what I think we're curious to know about is what makes your luxury abaya special.
I think because it fits well with my ready-to-wear collection. So basically, if you're going to an event, and when we describe a luxury abaya, so it depends on who is the person who's describing it. I mean, the woman. Something that's worn for a gala in Europe can be worn on a Tuesday night here.
Absolutely.
You know, so what distinguishes my abaya maybe is that it follows the ready-to-wear line. So you can wear a dress, a suit from my ready-to-wear line, and the abaya.
Would it be like the 1950s where coats, linings would kind of match?
Exactly, match
I don't
the
know
collection.
if you remember that. With dresses,
Yeah.
something
Yes.
of that sort?
Yep.
How do you see your future? You've gone a long way in nearly 10 years. I believe, did we have a conversation about Harrods in London that you were hoping to sell there, or maybe another place, retailer?
Yes. Harrods has always been a dream, and I'm working very hard towards it. And inshallah, it's in my 3 years plan, and hopefully soon.
Inshallah.
And are there specific places, say across Europe or across America, where you feel you should target your work? Because you seem to me, which is extremely good, to have a very strong view of the fact that you are an Arabic designer and that you make appropriate clothes, but within that, they're full of imagination and decoration and ideas. But this should surely target a lot of women who have the same thoughts as you, but are not living in your country or in this whole region.
Well, every collection I design, of course, number one, I do follow trends, international trends. And I want to move to every market in all the countries in the world. But then there has to be something different. I don't want to go to Paris and do what a designer from Paris does. I want to go and I want to see my designs in Paris street worn, and then people would know that this is something different because it has Omani origins. It has that story from Oman that people would say, okay, this is something different, so what's behind this? And then they hear the story of Oman.
When we first met, before I'd even told you we were going to have a conference here, I asked you who was your great fashion hero or heroine, and you said the answer, Elie Saab, and that it was your dream that he would come one day to Muscat and meet you. Well, that's happened. Your dream has come true.
And that's checked.
But what did that mean to you? Do you feel a link with Elie Saab? Because as we know, when we heard him right at the beginning of the conference, he is somebody who started so small, so young,
Exactly.
in Beirut, and he's built his business. Is this your dream?
Of course, Elie Saab has always been an inspiration to me. I mean, for an Arab
To all of us.
designer, to all of us, exactly. He started very small. He built up himself. And now Elisab is one of the most important fashion icons in the world. So definitely he's an icon that I always look up to. And meeting him was just a dream come true.
Any more thoughts that you want to ask from your inside knowledge?
You're putting me on the spot, Susie.
Yes, so that's the plan.
I want to ask
And
you.
you know, Susie, I'm quite nervous, so you just...
You don't seem like it, so you're doing a very good job.
Thank you.
I actually am interested in asking you one question, and I'm going to let you go. I think one of the very interesting things that have been happening in the last few months that I've seen occur with the political landscape that we live in globally is that there's a very big embrace of Arab and Muslim wear, if you will. And I wonder, do you think that that could trickle down to how your business can be translated to places like the United States or Northern Europe, places that you didn't really necessarily think of as being the market for your capsule collection, not just your ready-to-wear?
Yeah.
Well, how do you feel about that?
I think that is helping a lot because modest fashion is becoming...
Do you like the word modest? That's going to be my next question. Because I have very mixed feelings about that word.
I'm not quite sure.
Me neither. Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
I think having the modest fashion being, how can I say this, a trend is helping a lot because I think that happened because Muslim or Arab designers are trying hard to show the world that we also have beautiful things.
But they're also embraced. You have to understand that there's a kind of a exchange happening, what makes
Yes.
it very nice to see. People, believe it or not, are more embracing
Exactly.
of this than they ever have been before.
Exactly.
Well, here is my view, and I'm going to end the session with it. I think with all the vulgarity that there is currently in the world itself and in fashion, it is great to have somebody who has a more modest approach and who makes such beautiful things, and I congratulate you.
Thank you
That's
very
so
much.
wonderful.